As the academic calendar flips, we bring you an all-new show encompassing the best that SportsLink has to offer. From the brand new and improved Studio C here on the campus of Ball State University. Look how nice this new bad boy is, huh? I'm Dominick Liacone, that's JJ Gregston. Our producers are Maddy, Howell, and Nate Locker. Welcome to the premiere episode of SL Featured, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. It's the best in Ball State sports, produced by the creative storytellers of Ball State SportsLink. JJ, we've got a plethora of features to show here in the month of October. We're very excited.
That's right, Dom. The semester is already halfway over, which means we have a lot of great stories to show you all today. From the pool to the links, even to the track. We're really looking forward to it.
This is SL Featured, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie supports the students of Ball State SportsLink. Behind-the-scenes access and off-the-field lives of student athletes, SL Featured is the home for the best stories in Ball State sports. This is the award-winning SL Featured, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
When life throws you in the deep end, some sink, but others swim, and swim for miles. For our first story, we head to the water with swimmer and Ball State SportsLink's very own Callie Tuma. After competing on a torn ACL for 3 years, yes, you heard that right, she finally got the surgery only to come back stronger and better than ever. This is Callie's comeback.
I started swimming when I was around 6 or 7 years old. My mom threw me in the pool at the Y and I got to the other end, so I signed up for swim. I swam high school all 4 years. Won conference, I won sectionals, and then I got 8th at state. And I was named an All-American in the 500 free, which was kind of cool. I had my first surgery on my foot in 2019. Once my feet were finished growing, I knew I had to have surgery because my right foot was just really weird. My toe was going underneath my other toes. I had an extra bone on the inside of my foot. That one was a lot easier than my second surgery. The day before COVID happened, I tore my ACL. I didn't know that at the time though. I was at a family friend's birthday party and I was on a jump park. The best way I can describe it is I feel like my knee popped out of place. I thought my kneecap was just out, and then you straightened your leg and it kind of clicked and popped back in. And so that was the first pain that I felt. And so went home, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the doctor tomorrow, we'll just see what it is. And then COVID shut everything down that next day.
It was expected, and now it's official. The governor extending the stay-at-home order until May 30th.
Once things opened back up, I went to PT for it. And because it was so long after, there was some buildup and you couldn't really tell that it was an ACL tear. They thought it was my kneecap being unstable. And I had a few issues every once in a while, but I could swim, so I wasn't overly concerned about it. Swam through COVID with it, got recruited with my ACL being torn all throughout high school. And then the day after high school graduation, so May of 2022, I was hanging out with some friends and I re-hurt my knee. It was the same pain of it popped out, and then I had to straighten it and pop back in. And that has happened a few times before, but this time the pain was different. And I had a friend who was an orthopedic surgeon, and so I called him. And he came over and he did one simple test on my knee, and he was like, yeah, you tore your ACL. The first person I called when I found out, got the results of the MRI, was my club coach. At that point in time, I was still debating if I was gonna get the surgery or not. I was like, okay, I've kind of done well without it so far, but he had told me that there's a life after swimming. When he said that, it made me put things in perspective. Yeah, this sucks for swimming, but don't want to have issues with my knee down the line. My next called my Ball State coach, Jay. I said to him, I have some news. I tore my ACL. I haven't decided when I'm getting the surgery yet. Kind of wanted to talk to you a bit about that. The timeline would be me coming back 6 months in June, which is like whatever, and it'd be in the middle of the season. But I swam on it for so long that I was kind of like asking him if it would be okay if I waited until after season to get the surgery. The family friend was an orthopedic surgeon that initially said that my ACL was torn. He said that he wasn't gonna do the surgery, and so he recommended someone. We kind of like talked through the whole process and all that stuff, and he was like, okay, well, when do you want to do the surgery? And I said, oh, in like a few months, and that kind of surprised them that I wanted to like wait that long. Looking back, I was like, you know, obviously there was something wrong with my knee, but I was swimming and I was getting better, and honestly, if I feel like I would have known that I was a torn ACL, then I would have done the surgery then, and maybe I wouldn't be where I am. I'm happy that I waited. It was a lot of fun. I was able to bond with the team. And like just some of the memories that I have from like swim wouldn't have happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first place finisher representing Ball State freshman Callie Tuma.
This was kind of like the second surgery that I've gone through, so I was a bit more, okay, like I know that I have to like get the IV and a bunch of stuff, but I had the surgery. Post ACL, a lot of pain, but it's okay. Doing a nerve block, thank the Lord. We had to like go to my mom's car. They had to like get me up and moving, which is just so much fun. Like you just like don't want to get up and they're making you. Don't tear your ACL. Shit sucks. I was not on weight bearing for at least a week, and then they kind of want to get you walking right away after that, and you kind of just continue to build up from there. 100 out of 100 don't recommend. It hurts so bad. I kind of debated being done with swimming. At one point, I was like, I ended off on a good note. So I'm like a week post-op, and this is how much I can bend my knee. Once you're a certain point out from not like doing your sport anymore, you're like, yeah, I miss it. But then at a certain point, you kind of be content with, you know, I've accomplished a lot, like I could be done.
A big part of rehab for a lot of these athletes is the mental side as well as the physical side. So you see a lot of these athletes physically ready to come back, but the mental part's kind of hard.
That fear of, I know that my knee's like able to do this, but it's like the fear of, okay, well, what if it happens again? Kind of keeping on building off of that. Like, do I want to do this? And ultimately I was like, yeah, I do.
Callie had such a good attitude. Not just as an athlete, but as a person. She's hardworking, determined, she has that end goal in mind, and she's not gonna stop until she gets it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Okay. So at the beginning of the year, me and Jay had a meeting and we kind of were talking about our expectations for this season and kind of what my main goal and like our main goal was kind of just getting me back to where I was last season.
Day 4 of the MAC Women's Swimming and Diving Championships from Ohio University. Buckle up, here we go, as we get set to crown a champion in 2024.
It wasn't even a year, and it was kind of a reminder of, okay, it's only been a year. You know, a lot of people, this surgery said they would take up to a year for like recovery.
Leading off the night is the 1650 freestyle, AKA the mile. The 1650 freestyle is underway.
I've kind of always approached the mile as getting out in front.
She was out fast. She was aggressive. I'm like, can she hold on to this pace?
But it's Callie Tuma in lane 8, Ball State. The biggest surprise, she has the lead at the moment.
You're kind of in a groove and you're kind of holding a pace the entire time that I don't really try to change up that often. But the last 25 is kind of where it's like an all-out sprint. You kind of just like give it all you got and you lay it all on the table.
The final 25 yards of the 1650 freestyle.
What a finish by Callie Tuma right here, giving it all she's got, and she is going to take this home.
Callie Tuma, Ball State, captures gold.
And then I won the race by 0.11. And I didn't know that I won. Like, I had no clue at this point. And I looked up at one of my teammates, Haley, and I was like, wait, did I win? And she was like, yeah, girl, you won.
Ball State's first gold medal this week. Callie Tuma for the Cardinals.
Walking out was kind of like, dang, this is kind of crazy. And then my coach got to present me with the medal, which was kind of cool also. And just kind of feeling just happy. Like, I got to see my parents in the stands. I don't think I really realized how big of a deal it was until I talked to my dad afterwards. My dad was kind of like, you've accomplished so much in like this past year.
I'm stronger, I can brave the water, I'm alive, I'm alive. When the walls tumble down, I will keep my head high. When I fall to the ground, I will reach for the sky. I'll rise up, I'll stand tall, break the calm, bring the storm.
What she was doing was amazing because of the situation she was in.
She'd been through so much coming back from her ACL surgery. She'd been incremental in her process. She had a lot of rough days.
She deserved that moment, and when her heart's in it, she's tough to beat.
She's got something special. She has an engine that few people can kind of match.
A lot of people would sit and make excuses, and Callie took it and was like, nope, I can do everything everyone else can do, and she went in that pool and proved it.
When the walls tumble down, I will keep my head high. When I fall to the ground.
Kind of learn a lot about yourself. I think that like one phrase you have to kind of like describe is kind of letting everything roll off your back and kind of not taking everything too seriously. You're gonna get through it. It's gonna be what it is. Just like only controlling the things that you can control. And I'm not the best at that still, but you just gotta just keep swimming.
I'll be the last one standing.
In SportsLink this semester, we've been immersing ourselves in what goes on behind the competition of the teams here on campus. 2 incredible all-access follow documentaries showcase the side of sports you don't usually see. Here's a sneak peek at Season 2 of Extra Time with Soccer, and Iron Sharpens Iron with men's and women's golf.
I think, you know, why not us? Grit is just doing things you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing them. You know, hold a trophy at the end of the year, you know that you've really accomplished something.
eventually soccer becomes your whole life.
3, 1, 2, 3, Ball State. And the family that they've had ever since they were little, they're ready to go. Like, they're ready to fly the nest.
Still got to go play a lot of games. Still have a lot to prove.
Media day, Coach? Every day is media day for us now.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I'm excited for Monday. Yeah. Tournament day.
We're out here playing our individual event this week.
Playing a practice round for my first ever collegiate event.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the guys compete today.
I'm ready to play some golf.
Here's what's on the radar in Ball State athletics. Hoop season is right around the corner. Both the Cardinals' men's and women's basketball teams open their year with the MAC Sunbelt Challenge on November 4th. The women host Old Dominion, while the men head south to Georgia State. Both teams are back in action at Worthen on the 8th for a doubleheader. The full schedules can be found at ballstatesports.com. For the second time in 3 years, Ball State has won the Mid-American Conference's Academic Award. Last year, student-athletes posted a 3.447 grade point average, and their NCAA Progress Report score of 992 was the MAC's highest.
SportsLink adds to its live production ESPN Plus events with 5 in the month of November. We have women's volleyball, women's basketball, and men's basketball, all with our new Table X pregame show. You can find the full production schedule online at ballstatesportslink.com. Last but not least, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee is hosting a clothing drive in support of the Muncie mission. Coats, sweaters, gloves, socks, and hats can be donated at the next 2 football games.
Cross-country athlete Sarah Mahnensmith's journey to Ball State is more than just running. Inspired by her brother, Eric, who has Down syndrome, Sarah is pursuing a degree in special education. Running on and off the course, Sarah is fueled by a bond that drives her to make a difference. Before we dive into the feature story, we are pleased to be joined by one of 2 producers on the story, Mr. Tristan Fuller. Tristan, thanks so much for joining us.
Dom, JJ, thanks for having me. Happy to be here to talk about this absolutely fantastic story and a fantastic human as well as athlete.
Tristan, there's so many ways we can go with asking you questions, but I just want to start by simply asking, where do you find a story like this?
Well, you know, when you're doing your research, right, for a story, it's one of those, like, you're looking for something that's a little bit different. I look for themes. I've had themes in every story I've ever done. This one for sure was the individuality of somebody and what makes them who they are. And I think that's what makes something so powerful, something as simple as a relationship between a sibling. Everyone has siblings, right, that has a sibling relationship, and they know what that's like. But how do we make it different? And that's what drew me into this story. Just the uniqueness and individuality of it really was what was attractive about it.
And you mentioned the story being powerful. Whenever you do have a powerful story like that, how does that change you not only as a person but also as a storyteller?
Man, I mean, doing these stories has made me so much more in tune with not just my own emotions, but the emotions of other people, right? It helps you practice empathy. It helps you realize, you know, that everyone's dealing with stuff, even if it doesn't necessarily show up in their day-to-day life, but it's something that you never quite know about. Seeing Sarah running on the course, you'd never know her backstory and why she's out there running, right? But it's something that I think is super important to understand about people, is that these athletes that we tell these stories about, they're people, right? I think that's the biggest thing that's important with that, and I think we try to show that off as much as we can, here, not just in SportsLink, but with this story in particular.
Tristan, you've created so many feature stories for SportsLink. Where does this one rank for you emotionally?
Man, I mean, you know, these stories are tough in the fact that they all have their own, you know, things about them that they love. You know, I did stories when I was younger that had maybe a little bit harder hitting in terms of like life or death, right? That kind of drama. But that's not necessarily my favorite thing to talk about always. You know, this is something that just makes you feel good. It gives you the warm fuzzies, right? And it's something that I think is really awesome about the stuff we get to do. So this one ranks near the top for sure.
Tristan, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, here is No Matter What.
When I first got into running, it was like originally for conditioning for swimming. The two correlate in a way like it's all dependent on yourself. It's not on anyone else. And especially now, like in college, like I'm not just running for myself anymore. I'm running for other people, my family, my friends, my teammates especially. I get to push myself as hard as I can, and I think that's a big part of it, is that like being able to see how hard I can push myself, like mentally and physically. Sometimes I have to remind myself just to take a deep breath, like soak it in, and then go for it. Like, don't think about my legs, don't think about how much pain I'm currently in, just like get that next girl, look up, go for it, and then sprint to the finish. Like that beautiful arch, there's nothing better to look at.
Good job, I'm proud of you.
As a student athlete, she's really just grown. It's been really fun to kind of see that. And, you know, again, there's been times, maybe the results were not the way that we wanted it to be, but again, on the day, showing up and running the best that she's ever ran before, that drives her.
Before the race, I am a nervous wreck, and I always have to sit back because afterwards, after I do all the worrying and everything, I know she's so prepared. To see her cross that finish line, it's like, yeah, girl, you've accomplished it, you've done it.
You know, each time you wonder how good the race is going to be. There's certain times that I kind of stay back, leave her alone. I don't chase her too much around the course. I just yell at her when she comes by me and just tell her to try to do the best she can, and we just go from there.
Eric is definitely like my biggest inspiration. He's gone through so much as like a child, with all like his sicknesses and then his disability. He's the reason I'm at Ball State, and he's the reason why I'm here, why I'm running, why I'm studying special ed, just everything. Like, he makes me whole.
He was born with Down syndrome, which is low muscle tone all over the body, so that affected his breathing, that affected his eating. It affected, obviously he has cognitive delays. The world of Down syndrome, the world of special needs was totally new to us. We didn't know. We had no idea what kind of quality of life he would have. When we first looked into it, we thought of the things that he couldn't do, and we had to retrain our thinking into the things that he can do.
Eric and I have the closest bond like that I have with anyone else in this world. That child has shaped completely who I am and like where I'm gonna go and what I'm gonna do in this world. There's just always been a connection that we've had that I literally wouldn't trade in the world.
He mourns, he grieves when she goes back to school. And every year I try to get a picture of them saying goodbye, and that hug it's something, and it's beautiful to see. It's a bond that forever will last, because it is so special, and because I know the love they have for each other runs so deep, and it's not something that I did. You know, the two of them form that bond themselves.
There's really something that God said, you two are together and you're gonna do this because of him. He's really the reason I'm here, and he's the reason that I'm going into special ed, and I want to make an impact on these kiddos because of him. Once I hit probably my 8th grade year in middle school, I was gonna be a teacher and I was gonna be working with special needs students. Ever since then, never looked back, never changed my major, never even had a doubt I was gonna do something else than what I'm gonna do now.
Those are her people. Special needs kids are her people. She's wanted to be a special needs teacher for a long, long time.
I've just never thought of anything outside of that. Every morning when I get up, that's the first thing I look at. Coach was reading a list of things, just kind of expectations and stuff. It was in a sentence and it was the last 3 words, and it was no matter what. And I was like, you know what? This applies to every single thing we do.
They both have made me realize that no hurdle is too tall to jump over. They've inspired me to love unconditionally. They've inspired me to forgive. Eric doesn't hold grudges at all, maybe for a minute, and then it's over with. So that's really been inspiring to help me in my life as well.
He is gonna do anything no matter what. He is not gonna let society tell him no. He's not gonna let, honestly, his own disability tell him no.
He has made us better people, our family, a much closer family. He's a gift, and really wouldn't change anything.
No matter what obstacles are in our way, no matter what hurdles, no matter what mountains we have to climb, we can do it no matter what.
That's all we have for you for the premiere episode of SL Featured. For stories like this and more, make sure to visit our social media page at BSU SportsLink.
Special thanks to our entire crew and you for tuning in this month. So for JJ Gregston, I'm Dominick Liacone. We'll see you next month for another edition of SL Featured presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.